I'm a tenant
Hello?
and I have no money to pay my rent on time. Cash is tight. Times are bad. What do I do? Who do I call? How do I deal with this? I still want to stay in the unit, but it's just getting a little bit tough. Who do I call?
Look, you can call your property manager. You should call your property manager and tell them in advance that you are experiencing hardship.
Don't bury my head in the sand.
Do not wait till you're over 14 days. We will have to send you a termination notice and you will have to vacate the property.
Talk to my property manager, tell them what's going on.
Each day, each week, any development, and make some payment, some contribution towards your rent. Even if you can't afford the entire week's rent, if you can make 50%, at least a little bit is something. It's better than nothing.
Can I pay on credit card if I'm a bit short of cash?
Yes, you can. We accept credit card here.
Will I get points if I do that?
You get points. There is a small surcharge depending on what card you use, but a lot of tenants, when they're in a jam, do call the office, come in and pay with a credit card.
How long do I have to be late on rent before you terminate me?
14 days.
If I pay my rent after the 14 days, how long do I have to, I first ask the question, how long do I have to move out from when I get that termination?
2 weeks, 14 days.
What if I pay my rent within those 14 days?
Owner's discretion if they want to keep you in the property and give you another chance.
What about if I want to get a friend in to help pay the rent?
Subletting the property is something the owner should approve. It needs to be on an application basis, so you can't just have somebody move in. We need to be able to vet them, find out if they're employed, all their details, and then it's up to the owner if they want to decide to allow that.
Will it affect my references? Like, what about getting a rental property next? Will that be affected?
Look, the most commonly question asked when an agent calls another agent is, did the tenants pay rent on time? We have to be honest. We have to provide a ledger. Your ledger is not, you can't tamper with a ledger from start to finish. Any history, any late payments will all show up on your ledger.
Will I get my bond back if I'm late on rent?
Depends on how much you owe. We can claim bond money to go towards rent, but bond is only used for repairs and damages, really. So if we were to apply to tribunal to claim back arrears, we would keep the bond in play just in case when the tenant moves out it's not clean or tidy or there's something broken that needs to be repaired.
So I'm a tenant, I'm late on rent. Am I a bad person or a good person?
Look, no one's a bad person and it's not up to us to judge, but a landlord has a responsibility to their bank, their mortgage, their financial situation. So if you're not going to be able to pay rent on time, which is a commitment that you agree to when you sign the lease agreement, and a lot, is riding on that rent being due on a certain day. Landlords make, all these plans. If that's going to change, you need to be honest, you need to let us know. And look, sometimes it's just a matter of downsizing. Sometimes the rent can be too high and you need to bite the bullet and decide that, maybe this property is not for me and I need to find something a little bit more affordable.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
But the key from what I'm hearing is communicate.
Definitely.
Even through the shit.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you're a bad person, good person. Shit just happens, but please communicate is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's all the owners want as well, because we communicate on the tenant's behalf to the owners. So if you're creating that dialogue, we can let the owner know so they can plan ahead. If the mortgage repayment's not going to be able to be paid, they can, maybe pull money out from somewhere else if they have it,
You're one of the best, Cleo's one of the best property managers in the country. You like when I say that, eh?
Yeah.
Any other tips you want to give to people that are arrears in rent or going to be in, or going through some unforeseen, because this can also mean health.
Yes.
You could not be paying your rent because you're not in good health and you haven't worked because you're in good health. But what's anything else that we've missed that you want to mention?
Like you said, don't bury your head in the sand. Don't wait till it's too late. Once that formality of the 14 days goes past, there's not really a lot I can do to help that situation. But if you're within the first week, you're experiencing or foreseeing that this is going to be a problem long term, then I and your property manager can help you mitigate that termination by either arranging something with the landlord. Some landlords are very flexible with their tenants. Some tenants have been tenants for over 5 or 10 years and have never been late, but then all of a sudden experience something like you said, you know, an illness or, you know, loss of work or whatever.
What if I don't pay my rent and I refuse to move out?
Well,
I'm not going to move out of this property. You can take me.
we will take you. We will take you out of the property.
So what happens after the 14 days that I don't pay? You've given me notice, 14 days. We're 28 days. What happens then?
We apply to tribunal and get a court order to have the lease officially terminated, and then if you still haven't moved out of the property, then we engage a sheriff who comes to the property. I've only just recently done one of those, and it's not nice. It's invasive, and you're not allowed back to get your stuff. It's a blemish on your record, and basically, yeah, it's not a way you want to go down.
What happens to your stuff if you can't get back into your property because you haven't paid your rent?
14 days you have to remove it all. You can only have to make a couple of appointments with your property manager, and then after 2 weeks, if it's not gone, then the owner can sell it, get rid of it.
Very rare.
Very rare. For 12 years I've never had to do a sheriff's order until after Christmas
Is
this
that
year.
because the Northern Beaches is probably more of a people can pay their rent area, or is that just how it rolls sort of Sydney wide, that, you know, people sort their shit out?
Yeah, look, I don't think it's really based on demographic, but it is a sign of the times, and usually Christmas, everyone's overspent. It's a time where we see the most hardship, especially, you know, families, young families, they're buying the kids, you know, brand new scooters and iPads and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't know if it's Northern Beaches issue.
That's pretty good. 12 years, one sheriff removal out of all the properties you've managed.
Yep,
Incredible.
only one.
Guys, hope we've helped you. Thanks,
See you
Legend.
later. No problem.
See ya.